What is up, guys? Welcome back to Random Select Daily, number 13. Today's date is Monday, April 22nd, 2013. And today I kind of want to talk a little bit about Borderlands 2. So if you've seen some of my past stuff, like my podcast or whatever, you'll know how I feel about Borderlands 2. But basically, I picked this up to play with Corey on the PC, and we recently started it up. But it does bring up some old complaints I've had about Borderlands 2. It's really fun. Has a lot of good humor, but I do feel like there's a couple of, I'd say, like, I wouldn't call it maybe not originality stuff, but I would say one of the biggest problems was that with the characters and guns, I feel like there's actually not that much variety in the game. I'll start with the characters. So when I say variety in characters, like, there's definitely different characters, but I would say, like, other than the Siren and maybe the Assassin, which, I heard the Assassin is not all that great, but I guess that's more preference. But with the Commando, the Gunzerker, and the Necromancer, even they're kind of boring classes. Like, I feel like there's no, like, why is dual wielding? I mean, I guess people enjoyed it, I guess, but I don't understand the point of dual wielding. Like, that seems kind of like a boring thing. I don't like, that seems more like a second tier perk rather than like a main skill. But and then of course you have the turret and a mech, which is basically the same thing. Granted, the turret can't move, but not all that different. And I kind of wish that they were different. Like, I've played all five of the classes, and I played the Siren. I played all the way through the game, and I had so many different fun powers that I wanted the skill cap to raise. I wanted it to be higher because I wanted to be able to afford rezzing my teammates from across the map. I wanted to be able to uh, incorporate slag and everything to the characters, and then I also wanted to bring everything, do that little vortex move with the phase lock. And I wanted more. That's kind of what you want from a character. Granted, I didn't play. I didn't play too much. I only got to like level 10 of each of the other classes, but they just didn't seem all that fun to me. Like, Gunzerker, dual wielding. I'm sure he had some good passive skills, but I feel like one of the major sell points to Borderlands 2 is that skill. And because otherwise it's just kind of like another loot shooter. I guess there's not many loot shooters, but it's just another loot game that happens to be a first-person shooter. Uh, but with its skills, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of variety of ways to play, especially with the Siren. Like, maybe, of course, this is all just opinion, but the Siren had so many different ways I could play, so many different ways that I wanted to play, that it feels like other characters don't quite have that ability. This is also just my opinion, but I would like to see. But I think in general, like, the powers other than the Siren was kind of lackluster. Maybe the actual skill trees have some unique stuff, but dual wielding, turret summoning, and necro and bot summoning, not exactly the most original, especially since two of them are kind of the same thing almost. But yeah, like, I guess one of the biggest reasons I liked the Siren so much was that you use the power more than once in a battle. Like, with the Commando, I would put a turret down, I'll destroy everything, and then I would reclaim it. And like, that was it. Like, I just played it for one battle. With the Siren, I can use it 3 or 4 times and use it in different ways. Like, oh, if I need to heal, I'll pick one up. I'll pick up a weak guy and make sure I can kill him there. Or oh, there's a big guy. I need to get a lot of damage on him quickly with this shotgun. Stuff like that. And so I hope for Borderlands 3 they can try to make it a little more exciting, more varied. I can't. This is of course my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people loved the Gunzerker. I know a lot of people miss Brick with his punching and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's kind of my character complaint. I feel like the originality there was not exactly high, like, in comparison to a bunch of the other games. But the last thing is definitely the loot. So, I mean, maybe this is just my inexperience with loot games. I recently played Diablo 3. I played a few MMOs. But overall, I felt like the loot was not really that great. Like in so a lot of the things they promised in this game kind of was like, oh, this game is, this has a gazillion guns or whatever, right? And it really didn't. So technically the stats made each gun different, right? Like a 20 damage pistol is different than a 19 damage pistol, but if it has the exact same stats everywhere else, it's not all that different, right? Or it has a melee blade instead, and yeah, those are different. But I think the true different guns are the companies, which I thought is actually a really cool idea. So if you haven't played Borderlands, basically each gun has its own, or each company has its own specialty type, and their specialty type for guns, like it ranges from different things. Like, oh, these guns shoot. This company makes more elemental guns. This company, if you reload, you throw the gun like a grenade. And a couple of these were kind of fun, but in the end, for such kind of a fun game, such a original game, I'd say the company's special abilities, quote unquote, were kind of boring. I don't know if I can remember them all, but like you have the Jacobs, which is just shoot as fast as you can, which like I feel like that could have been a trait that you could make other guns more varied. The Vladov was like high fire rate. Bandit is high clip size. Like these are things that I feel like should have made the other guns just more varied. Like make my elemental guns have like make me choose between a high clip size elemental gun or a high fire rate elemental gun. Instead, all the elemental guns are kind of the same. Really, the only thing that changes is I'd say is the damage, and that's not exactly the most fun to do. Uh, Hyperion is fire increases accuracy, which I don't think anyone liked that gun. I didn't mind it for a couple of things, like the shotguns are usually okay, and the SMGs were fine, I guess. But other than that, Jacobs started off. What else was there? The Theodore was the reload. Like the reload your gun like a grenade was interesting. It had its own aspects of like if you had more ammo in that reload, it did more damage. So a lot of people actually used it almost like a grenade launcher, where they shot and then threw, which is such a cool technique. Like, granted, reloading and losing all those bullets on accidents, because every first-person shooter before this has taught you to reload every single time you don't have full ammo in your clip. But yeah, so it would be so nice if the game wasn't so it wasn't as I wish there was more variety to the guns. Like there's definitely a few in there that they can keep, and that was good, but I do feel like they could have done a little bit more things, make the guns a little more exciting, make I don't know any examples off the top of my head. Maybe something that is all close range guns, or like maybe they shoot I don't know. I don't know. But so one of the things like that was kind of cool was all the boss weapons. Like, so there's some guns that had red text in it, and what that red text meant was that if it had red text, it had some kind of special ability attached to it. Sometimes bad, sometimes good. And I feel like that was such a cool part, and like it made me really excited for some of these guns, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's basically how I would describe it. The shields also, the shields kind of were not varied enough to the point where like it didn't feel like the companies mattered. I mean, there's definitely differences. There's the high shield long recharge and stuff like that. But it was just kind of one of those points where it's like, since there wasn't enough stats, it just kind of stayed the same. Like, every shield worked the same. Like every shield. Actually, that'd be kind of interesting. One where like you had to like shoot someone to earn your shield back or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. Whatever. I do wish there's just more variety in Borderlands 2. I know they can do it. I know Gearbox is up to it. I do hope that they upgrade a few of the things. I just basically I want in this game that is so animated, so unique, so different, that it's not having different. It's not having Call of Duty type gun differences where it's like, well, this gun can shoot faster. This gun has a bigger clip size. I want to see, oh, this gun fires rockets for every last bullet, right? I want to see every shotgun that hits a critical hit becomes an explosion, or maybe like a vortex or something like that. Or this gun, if you reload, an empty clip gets a bonus damage, or some things like that. Like, I love Mass Effect that way because it's such a unique game, and it does have some of those traits, but there's also a lot of guns that are so different. The powers are so unique, and all that kind of stuff. So I hope Borderlands 3 will, maybe get a little more creative. I hope they take the chance. I know the balance wasn't that hard. The New Game Plus is fantastic. I love the New Game Plus. Made the game harder, but still fun. Yeah, and so, yeah, I mean, that's how I would describe it. And, yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys maybe agree. If you don't agree, go ahead and tell me. I hope Borderlands 3 is good. I will definitely be buying it when it comes out. And also, check out twitch.tv/nicetactics. I might even be uploading the Borderlands 2 Let's Play to YouTube. If you've not seen it before, if you want to see it again for whatever reason, go ahead and watch it on twitch.tv/nicetactics or here on youtube.com/ShaneSniper. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and see you later. Adios.